9:25 to 9:55 a.m. Apologies for starting the show late. I am Ike Nwokedi. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. A whole lot went down in the world of sports at the weekend. We'll tell you about a mini stadium which was commissioned in Umuchu, and we'll talk about that on the sports show. We'll talk about a Solution Football Club of Anambra State at how they featured a match day 2 of the Nigerian National League. Also on the show, we'll tell you that FG plans a presidential task force for Super Eagles, and Max Verstappen wins the season finale in Formula 1 plus tennis, and a result service on the sports show, the Sports Splash on ABS TV. Now let's begin with our first story on the show. Our first story on the show is about Solution Football Club of Anambra State playing in the second tier of a Nigerian club football known as the Nigerian National League. Let's tell you that Solution Football Club on Sunday lost their second match of the ongoing Nigeria National League NNL 2023-2024 season by 2 unreplied goals to Warri Wolves. Wilfred Buchi's classy finish in the 76th minute and Obinna Izuchukwu's brilliant efforts on the dot of the 90th minute were enough to secure maximum points for the home side. The technical crew of Solution FC, led by the head coach Uche Okabue, made 3 changes to the side as saw off Tradesef FC on match day 1 as Ifeanyi Nwankwo, Best Albangbe and Cosmas Oko came in for Morrison, Godswill, Christopher Biawo and Etop Ekon. Chances were few and far between in the early going as both sides tried to establish a rhythm in a physical game which ended goalless at the end of the first 45 minutes. The second period kick-started just like the first, with the Solution boys making the first contribution as diminutive solution forward Solomon Ubong capitalized on a defensive error and came closer to punishing the home side with a well-struck effort outside the box which sailed the inches off the target in the match. Goalkeeper Chinedu Nwabeze made some brilliant saves to keep the game at bay, but that was not for long as Buchi offered the Wolves gave the home team a lifeline. This gave the Wolves the confidence to power pressure and see off the contest through a second goal scored by Izuchukwu. Solution FC will go back home to prepare for their next match in a fortnight time against Osun United come Saturday the 9th of December 2023 at the Awka City Stadium. So it was not a good story for Solution FC this weekend. Sunday to be precise, as they lost at 2. Yes, they lost that match at 2. Warri Wolves, and the game was played at the Kwale Township Stadium. That's the adopted ground of Warri Wolves in the match day 2 program of the Nigerian National League played yesterday out there at the Kwale Township Stadium in Delta State. And so Solution FC are already back to Awka, and they're already preparing. They will start a preparation for their next game against Osun United coming up on Saturday the 9th of December 2023 in the Nigeria National League. Let's move away from that. Let's talk about still talking about facilities, sports facilities this time around. Let's talk about the Umuchu mini stadium. Let's tell you that history was made on Saturday the 25th of November 2023 as the Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Onyekachi Ibezim, commissioned the Umuchu mini stadium. The Umuchu mini stadium construction project, which is an initiative of the Transition Committee Chairman of Agwata Local Government Area, Honorable Chief Chibeze Ofobike, is owned by the Catholic Diocese of Ekulobia. The Umuchu Mini Stadium project construction, which commenced in February 2023, is a FIFA standard football pitch with lush green natural grass with a seating capacity of 500, with a pavilion, VIP section, and open gallery where football fans can also stand to watch soccer actions. The stadium facility was commissioned by the Deputy Governor of the state, who was represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development in the state, Honorable Patrick Aramba, with a Catholic Bishop of Ekulobia Diocese, Cardinal Obaleke, praying and blessing the arena. In his remark, the TC Chairman of Agwata, in the person of Chief Honorable Ofobike Chibeze, stated that the essence of the football pitch is to provide a ground for young footballers to play the round ladder game and equally groom the young young and talented footballers. He also revealed that the ground belongs to the Catholic Diocese of Ekulobia, and they took permission to develop the arena. Of course, he said that he's also a crusader of a maintenance of a pitch, and will ensure that, of course, there will be adequate and proper maintenance of that pitch. I'm talking about the Umuchu Mini Stadium, which was officially unveiled and opened, and that was on Saturday. And of course, 2 matches we have played that day, test matches we have played as part of the program to spice up the unveiling ceremony. Umuchu All-Stars took on Ekulobia All-Stars in a match, while Agwata Football Academy under 13 also took on Doskadek Academy under 13 in a match played as part of the opening of the Umuchu Township Stadium. Also, the chairman Anambra State Football Association, Chief Chikelo Ilenyosi General, was also there, and he commended the good works of the Transition Committee Chairman of Agwata, in the person of Honorable Ofobike, for his initiative and also his passion for sports and football development in the state. He said the Anambra State Football Association will continue to support anything concerning football growth and development in Anambra State. So it was history being made on Saturday as the Umuchu Mini Stadium has been officially opened, and that place can now host football matches. It is lush green grass, and it has a seating capacity of 500. And we'll say kudos to the man making all this possible, in the person of the Transition Committee Chairman of Agwata LGA, in the person of Honorable Chief Chibeze. Honorable Chief Dr. Chibeze of Obike for putting this up. And of course, we know that we had Agwata Football Academy also existing, and Honorable Ofobike has stated that this will now be the ground of the official ground of Agwata Football Academy. So in a matter of days, weeks and months ahead, we'll get to hear more about the Umuchu Mini Stadium. Let's move away from that now. Let's go elsewhere. Still talking sports on Sports Today on ABS TV. Let's tell you that worried by the Super Eagles disappointing a start to the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Reports say the federal government is now studying the possibility of setting up a special presidential task force to oversee the 2026 World Cup qualification campaign of the Super Eagles after a disastrous start in the series. The 3-time African champions got off after they forced Lesotho to a 1-1 draw at home in Uyo before another 1-1 draw with Zimbabwe in Rwanda 3 days later. They are now third in Group C on 2 points, with Rwanda the surprise leaders on 4 points. While South Africa have 3 points at this point. The Eagles will resume the qualifying tournament in June 2024 with a home game against main rival South Africa before a tricky trip to next door neighbors Benin Republic. Officials have said that the government is disturbed that the NFF are not capable of delivering a World Cup ticket, and so the need for a presidential task force to ensure that nothing is left to chance this time around in the build-up. Nigeria failed to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar when they lost to ARC rivals Ghana on the away goals rule. Both perennial West African rivals drew 0-0 in Kumasi before the Black Stars held the Super Eagles to a 1-1 draw in Abuja, and that was in March 2022. It will be recalled that a presidential task force was set up to qualify the country to the 2010 World Cup, which was hosted for the very first time in Africa by the country South Africa. And moving on, let's move on to another sports story. Let's talk about boxing. Anthony Joshua could revisit the Rumble in the Jungle as part of the iconic bow around the 50th anniversary of legendary fighter, says Eddie Hearn. Promoter Hearn says talks have taken place over the heavyweight contender fighting in Africa. The government backing for an event is available. Joshua, 34 years of age, has Nigeria ancestry but has never fought on the continent. Muhammad Ali and George Foreman contested at the heavyweight world championship in Zaire now Democratic Republic of Congo in October 1974 in one of the greatest fights of all time. Both men were champions during the long careers that made them legends, with Ali knocking out a Foreman in the 8 rounds to win at the WBA, WBC and the ring titles. Joshua held at the WBA belt for a combined total of almost 4 years and has been IBF, WBO, IBO champion, although he is currently aiming to win back at the titles that he failed to regain from Ukrainian Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia, and that was August 2022. The 2012 Olympic gold medalist who grew up in London after his parents emigrated from Nigeria before he was born remains one of the biggest ticket sellers in the sports, and has called himself a proudly Nigerian and proudly British, sporting a tattoo of Africa with a Nigeria outline on his right shoulder. Earlier in November, Hen told the media he was exploring a potential fight between Joshua and former UFC champion Francis Ngannou as part of a plan for the next 6 to 12 months of Joshua's career. Like Joshua, Ngannou is a huge name in Africa, particularly in Cameroon, where he was born and took his first step in combat sports before moving to Europe to fulfill his mixed martial art dream. Elsewhere, moving away from boxing, let's go to South Africa and we come back to football again. In football, South Africa has pulled out of the race to host the Women's World Cup coming up in 2027. We hear the country was one of 4 bids vying to stage at the tournament. Both South African Football Association, SAFA, said it wants to present a strong bid for the 2031 competition. World Governing Body FIFA will select a host in the month of May. We hear a joint bid from Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands, another joint bid by Mexico and the United States, and one from Brazil. The remaining candidates, and the 2023 tournament was held in Australia and New Zealand, where Spain defeated England 1-0 in the final of that competition. But the news is that South Africa have pulled out from one of the contenders to host the competition in 2027, and according to the local organizing committee in the country, they said they want to prepare to host that of 2031. So it will be watching out for that. It will be good to see an African nation hosting the Women's World Cup sometime in the nearest future. Now let's talk about Formula 1 motorsports. Red Bull's Max Verstappen ended the most dominant season in Formula 1 history with victory in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. His 19th win in 22 races, 19 won by Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen rather, and the comfortable victory after brushing off a brief challenge from Ferrari's Charles Leclerc on the opening lap. Gives Verstappen an 86.4% win rate in 2023. Red Bull's Sergio Perez took second on the road after Leclerc let him by on the penultimate lap in a vain attempt to secure a second spot in the Constructors' Championship for Ferrari against Mercedes, but was demoted to 4th on the road by the 5 seconds penalty. That promoted George Russell to 3rd for Mercedes, and with Lewis Hamilton securing 2 points from 9th place. That was enough to keep Mercedes in 2nd place by 3 points. We hear Leclerc's strategy had been to let Perez by in the hope that Mexican on fresher tires could build enough of a lead to negate his penalty imposed for a collision with McLaren's Lando Norris. But Perez did not quite make it, and he dropped down to the classification 1.1 seconds behind Russell. Leclerc could have chosen to back right off on the last lap and delay Russell further in the hope that could make the difference, but continue to drive at his pace. But what happened is that Max Verstappen has made it 19 wins from 22 races after the Formula 1 season comes to a crescendo. Moving to athletics now, let's tell you that former Paralympic champion Oscar Pistorius is to be freed from jail on parole nearly 11 years after murdering his girlfriend, River Steve Camper. We hear he shot her multiple times through a bathroom door on Valentine's Day in 2013, later claiming he mistook her for a burglar at the Pretoria home. Pistorius, now 37 years years of age, was sentenced by a South African court in 2016 to serve 13 years and 5 months in prison, and the parole board has set his release for 5th of January 2024. Once released, Pistorius will be monitored by the authorities until his sentence officially expires, just like all other paroles, and the Department of Correctional Services said on Friday. And if he wants to move house or get a job during the time, he will have to notify his parole officer. Pistorius will also have to attend therapy sessions, according to Steenkamp's family spokesman. In a letter read out to the parole board during Friday's hearing, Ms. Steenkamp's mother said that she did not oppose his release, but wondered where Pistorius' huge anger issues were truly dealt with in prisons. She added that she would be concerned for the safety of any woman who now comes into contact with Oscar Pistorius. And Oscar Pistorius, a lot of stories about him and of course I said to be released with some restrictions attached to that release. Now, let's talk about tennis. Wimbledon's expansion plans have suffered a blow when Wentworth County or Wentworth Council voted against each proposal. The All England Club wanted to build 39 tennis courts, including an 8,000-seater show court on the former site of Wimbledon Park and Golf Club. Officers at Wentworth Council recommended councillors refuse planning permission earlier this month, and the Mayor of London's office will have 2 weeks following Wentworth's decision to deliver a verdict. Mayor Sadiq Khan could also opt to take over the application himself, a course of action also within the power of Michael Gove, the Secretary of the State for Leveling Up Housing and communities. Away from that, let's talk about the Davis Cup finals played yesterday. Dominant Jannik Sinner outclassed Australia's Alex de Minaur to help Italy secure their first Davis Cup title for 47 years. Matthew Arnaldi defeated Alexei Popyrin 7-5, 2-6, 6-4 in a Navy opening singles match to put Italy 1-0 up in Malaga, Spain. And Sinner then backed up his sterling week with a 6-3, 6-love win over de Minaur. It is the second time Italy have lifted the Davis Cup, having previously won the title, and that was in 1976. There were scenes of jubilation as the Italian team flooded on the court to celebrate with Sinner, who raised his arms in the air after the Minaur's backhand skewed wider to ensure victory. Australia were bidding for a 29th Davis Cup title, but have now lost back-to-back finals, having been beaten by Canada, and that was last year. And still talking tennis, and Great Britain's men have been awarded a wild card for next year's Davis Cup, while the women's team will enter the qualifying round of the Billie Jean King Cup, and is expected to happen in the month of April. GB's men have received a wild card in 3 of the past 5 years. They will not have to play a qualifier in February, instead entering the tournament in September's group stage, and GP's women's will face France in the qualifying round for the second successive year. France beat an Contaviens team in Coventry this year, meaning they will host the April's qualifiers. By receiving a Davis Cup wildcard, Great Britain would definitely be able to host one of September's 4 groups. In 2022, the Lawn Tennis Association signed a multi-year deal with the International Tennis Federation, the ITF, to host a group stage matches. And finally, on football, let's tell you that in football, Sergio Ramos has of course been issued his 29th red card, and that was in the match where Sevilla took on Real Sociedad, and in that match Real Sociedad defeated Sevilla by 2-1. With Sergio Ramos, it was his 29th red card in his footballing career. And now quickly, before we go on the show, let's talk about the results of matches played in major leagues in Western Europe. Let's go to France. Montpellier is expected to take on Clermont Foot later tonight. Lyon lost 0-2 to Lille. In other results, it was Rennes 3, Reims 1, Lorient lost at 2-3-2, Metz was Montpellier 1, Brest 3, Nantes split out a goalless draw against Le Havre, was Nice 1, Toulouse 0, Strasbourg 1, Marseille 1, Clermont-Foot 0, Lens 3, PSG obliterated Monaco by 5-2. In Germany, Darmstadt will take on FC Cologne tonight by 7:30, and Hoffenheim played out a 1-1 draw against Mainz, and that was on Saturday. Heidenheim 0, Bochum 0. Eintracht Frankfurt lost 1-2 to VfB Stuttgart. It was Borussia Dortmund 4, Borussia Mönchengladbach 2. Elsewhere, Freiburg 1, Darmstadt 1. Union Berlin played out a 1-1 draw against Augsburg. It was Werder Bremen 0, Bayer Leverkusen 3, and Wolfsburg defeated Leipzig by 2-1, while Cologne lost 0-1 to Bayern Munich. In Italy, Girona will take on Athletic Club later tonight. Real Betis defeated Las Palmas by 1-0. Cadiz 0, Real Madrid 3. Elsewhere, Real Sociedad 2, Sevilla 1. Villarreal defeated Osasuna by 3-1. Atletico Madrid saw off Real Mallorca by 1-0. Getafe 2, Almeria 1, Valencia 0, Celta Vigo 0, Rayo Vallecano 1, Barcelona 1, and Deportivo Alaves 3, Granada 1. And quickly to England, Fulham will play Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Craven Cottage tonight. In results of matches played in the Premier League, Everton lost 0-3 to Manchester United. Tottenham Hotspur lost at home to Aston Villa 1-2. Brentford 0, Arsenal 1, Burnley 1, West Ham United 2. Luton Town defeated Crystal Palace by 2-1. Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1, Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Sheffield 1, Bournemouth 3, and Manchester City played out a 1-1 draw against Liverpool, and with that, Arsenal went on top of the log, courtesy of a win against Brentford, are now seated on the log with 30 points after about 13 matches played. That's the size of Monday's edition of a Sports Splash. The show continues tomorrow, same time, for another episode. My name is Ike Moked. Have a lovely week, and remember to keep sporting. Bye-bye now.